Hi, everybody. It's Twin
Twin
Soul
Soul
Poets.
Poets.
We are your go to couple for love advice and inspiration, dope spoken word poetry, and general uplifting content. We are here on day 5, and it has been a dynamic day to say the least. It's been very interesting for me to be on this cleanse during a time where it feels like our country is kind of on a cleanse or needs a cleanse. But it does feel like it feels interesting to be purging while it feels like there's a lot of purging going on. And I don't
Yeah.
think that, like for me, that feels very much in alignment. It feels like I'm trying to process physically and spiritually and emotionally at the same time that so many other people in the country are. So I'm grateful to be doing this cleanse on another deeper level than I even have been for those
Yeah.
reasons. But it's definitely stirred up a lot of uh, emotion I even now feel, and the anxiety, and also being a black woman, like just those kinds of repressed things that I think that a lot of black people don't even know that they're carrying. A lot of these ancestral things, and so I think it was important for us to address that too. And it just seems timely, and it seems like it's not a mistake that we're cleansing during this process.
Yeah. I think it does feel timely, and I think that it's so important. Self care during really tumultuous times becomes so important because when we are feeling good and in good health is when we have the most to give and to offer, and to even just the simple ability to have clarity and be able to process with clarity. And healthy eating is so crucial to having a positive energy level and feeling balanced emotionally. And when things are as overwhelming as they are and have been right now, if you compile that with junky foods that make you feel worse, it can quickly get really hard to feel okay. And so, you know, I just say that to say that I hope that our videos are inspiring in some way to be able to take it when so much is out of control, to at least be able to take control of your own health and your own well-being, and realize that we do have that power to take care of ourselves. Um,
Yeah, and I think there's a metaphor that I just thought of is Anthony Williams very clear about not blaming the person who is sick for their sickness, not telling them that their body's attacking themselves or that they created it. Although I do believe that your mindset can help your body heal, your love to your body can help your body heal, but it can become where, you know, there's a blame for feeling bad or not feeling good. And I think the same thing
mm,
can happen to marginalized peoples, black peoples, native peoples, that uh, they may often be blamed for the place they're in, for their position, or for their
mm,
pain, or for their trauma, or for their anger. And I don't know that that is the way that healing is going to happen. It comes from acknowledgement, it comes from feeling heard, it comes from respect,
yes,
it comes from validation.
yes,
And those are the ways that you can heal internally and externally. And I think those are the things that I'm hoping that this country is going to learn to offer. Um, because if not, that underlying cause, like that's the viral issue of the country. So we can, do all these things on the surface, but if we don't get to that deepest layer, then the real healing is not going to happen.
I totally agree. And I think everything that's going on is makes sense. it makes sense that people are fed up, and it makes sense for people to be angry and be upset and be overwhelmed and feel powerless enough to not know what to do other than throw stuff and break stuff, and it makes sense to not know what else to do.
And it can feel tough to feel that way. And another point that Anthony William makes in his book is on the spiritual level, asking for help, recognizing that you don't have to do it alone, reaching out in prayer. We're not religious, the two of us, but we are spiritual, and we do believe that we're part of a greater whole, and that there are, different energies and vibrations and well-wishing entities that are there to help, that Anthony William describes as angels, putting prayers out, and that grace, that kind of divine assistance can also be available. And that might be also something we need in this time, which is a segue for me to say that today, for me personally, my energy is pretty good. I've not been having cravings. I was around pizza today. I was around all kinds of different foods, and I was not moved, or I wasn't feeling deprived. In fact, my energies, I think has gone up. However, I had a very big flare all day of my interstitial cystitis symptoms, which are the bladder symptoms that I've mentioned in a couple of videos. So a lot of bladder pressure and pain and discomfort, and kind of feeling like I have to pee all the time, and just very intense. Anyone who goes through it, I understand what you're going through, and I know it's a challenge. And I think it's interesting that it's flared up today. I think it's a sign of healing. I think it's flaring up because it's getting down to these deeper layers of what's going on. But I also think that if we pay attention, that whenever there's heightened emotion, that a lot of times our physical symptoms will also flare. And I found that to be true today because of everything going on, and working things out with my husband and with my family, and it's like those things can agitate that energy, at least in my experience. But I think that there's a lot of books and teachers and things who would agree that those things are connected. Something really exciting that I didn't notice until my mom noticed that it improved for her was that my floaters in my eyes, I'm just like looking around to look at, have decreased. I still can see some, but I had so many more before doing this cleanse, and I was just kind of like wowed when I realized that was happening. I mean, that's pure evidence, that things are being shifted and healed in my body. And even, I don't know if you can see my eyes, but do you notice a difference in they're so dark, I don't know if you can tell, but like they seem clearer. When I was looking in the mirror today in the light, they seem clearer and more, the brown has more clarity to me.
Yeah, I agree.
I don't know. I noticed brown. It, and I just think these little signs are showing that my body is responding, and that makes me feel good. What about you?
Yeah. Today I did feel very hungry. I did feel I was wavering a bit on whether or not I wanted to continue, because I was just noticing that I feel like my face is looking skinny, and I've been intentionally wanting to gain weight, to gain muscle and things, and I was feeling discouraged, like, oh, I'm losing weight again. But I do overall, my baseline energy feels higher. I've felt very energized overall, and lunch was hard. We're on the hardest stage of the cleanse right now, the 3, 6, 9. There's like 3 different stages. So days 4, 5, and 6, you're pretty much only eating greens and salads and fruits. And so like having the big salad for lunch and dinner was a little bit hard for me, because I just wanted something warm. I wanted something like comforting, salty, fatty. I was craving that kind of like satisfying, just comfort food. And it was, I was honestly just like kind of forcing down my salad. Not that it wasn't good. It was not that it wasn't bad. It wasn't like, it didn't feel joyful to eat. I'll just say it that way. But I do feel determined with it, and I think that with my own issues that I'm dealing with, like, I think it's the cleanse can be helpful. I think that I deal with some anxiety issues and like obsessive compulsive type things, and there's more, Anthony William talks a lot, and I've read a lot of other people more and more talking about the mind-body connection, and how some of these psychological issues can actually be stemming from the gut often.
Or from like heavy metal toxicity.
Right.
Talks about viral issues that are underlying.
Viral issue, yeah, all those things. So, I'm interested to see at the end of the 9 days how I feel in that regard. And again, I just think that there's definitely something to eating tons of fruit and more lighter, higher vibrational foods. I think there's definitely something to the mind clarity that comes from that. I just, even though I will have flashes of hangriness, overall I feel more present. I feel more clear.
Day 5. It's time for breakfast.
Let's go upstairs and get started.
Smoothie time. Cheers.
What's for lunch today? More salad?
How'd you know? Let me tell you what I did. I went in on the salad today because I wanted it to, taste like varieties. I wanted it to be satisfying, filling. So I've got the steamed asparagus in here. I've got steamed yellow squash. But then I took some cauliflower I had raw, and I tossed some lemon juice in that, and a little bit of Duels and some garlic powder, and made cheese. Because that's where we're at. I don't even eat cheese in real life, but this sounded great. Unless it's vegan cheese. So I guess this is a raw vegan feta. So there you go.
Yes, please. A little sauce here. That's delicious.
Okay, got creative again. This is my 369 version of mango sticky rice. So I've done this with cauliflower that was steamed from earlier that I had left over, and I added some honey into the cauliflower rice that I made, that I put in the food processor, and put some really ripe fresh mango on top, and I am ready for dessert.
Or dessert.
Can you imagine if some of our leaders were willing to do cleanses?
Right, I mean, the kind of stuff that would
get some of
probably
this shit out of their system.
detox out of our president. But yeah, it's interesting. The sort of everything is everything, and our country definitely needs a cleanse, and I think that we're seeing that kind of
purging.
But also, like,
rolling
when
out.
you're cleansing, sometimes you feel like shit, you know, and then just because things look like they're like just falling apart, it actually could be healing, you know. And that's, I just really again appreciate, like, if Anthony William happens to watch this, I really appreciate having, you know, access to this kind of information. You know, you and others have shared very helpful information about really valuing health and well-being and how that affects one's life. And this is a very powerful example of how that can happen. It's been a journey. It's still challenging when, you know, even today I'm in a lot of pain, and it's tough sometimes. You know, I've talked to people who deal with chronic pain, and only you can understand if you've been through it. And Anthony William also addresses that, you know, and feeling like you're not necessarily understood or heard for that experience.
That's what the country's going through.
Exactly.
That chronic pain that has not been understood or acknowledged or properly treated, you know, ignored and denied, you know, and people were tired of carrying it.
And the country needs to feel what it needs to feel too, because that was my experience today. It's like I wasn't feeling great, and I really felt that I needed to be able to be in that. And because otherwise it's false, it's me putting on, or it's stuffing it down. And I don't know that either one of those things are what I want to do anymore. And I think I can get better at processing. But I think that as a country, we've got to feel all these feelings. We've got to be uncomfortable.
And how can we even try to say what is an appropriate reaction to watching murder on camera, on the street, by people in uniform who are supposed to protect and serve? Not just once, over and over and over again. How can you just try to tell people what is the appropriate way to respond to that?
Especially after everyone being in kind of a low-level anxiety on top of the normal experience for months of quarantine now. You know, a lot of people have just, especially people who are energetically sensitive, like we are, like if you are an empath, it has been a lot, you know. So we just hope that the things that we share are helpful, that we, you know, can inspire you to go on your own journey with your healing, with your spirituality, with your love life, which we'd love to hear what you want to hear from us about. What do you want to see? Do you want to see more of our personal lives? Do you want more love and relationship advice? Do you have specific questions? We want to feel like we're serving the people that come and feel blessed by our channel. And that's our sincere desire, to really kind of, with our twin soul, twin flame love and relationship, like make an impact.
And things will settle, and when things are more calm, what we will all be called to do is to take the calm after the storm and to see what are we going to rebuild from the rubble and from the ashes. You know, when a wildfire burns down a forest, it leaves very fertile soil from the soot and the ash and the soil, and a very lush forest can regrow after that. And that's the way nature does things, and we're not separate from nature. So what we will have sort of as things begin to settle is a very wonderful opportunity to grow something much greater than where we're at. And you know, the work is not over when the riots and the protests stop. That's just the start.
Then I'm glad you're still with us. But please like and subscribe and share this video if it touched you in some way, or if you know, felt moved by it, or if it helped you, or if you feel like there's someone else that you know that might be helped by watching this video, or you know, having access to our content, or subscribing to our page, or following us on Instagram at Twin Soul Poets. Please share. We want to get the word out. We want to spread the love.
And take care of yourself now more than ever. be kind to yourself with allowing whatever emotions you need to feel. Be kind to yourself, your body, with, you know, how you're taking care of your body and your health. You know, we all need to take care of ourselves, and when we take good care of ourselves, we have more to offer as partners, as friends, as family members, members of our community. And, you know, maybe that's what this whole pandemic and epidemic of other bull crap going on has shown us, that we just need to take better care of ourselves.
Take care of yourselves, guys. We'll see you tomorrow.